So when we look at this idea of learning and understanding what's important to a person, there's a set of tools that are helpful. And they would include, what are the routines that a person has? What's a good day? What's a bad day? Something that we refer to as a 2-minute drill, so that you can get something that some people would call the top tips for working with a person. And there's also some questions about if you wanted to help somebody have a really good day, or if you wanted to ruin somebody's day. And each of these are ways to start conversations. And each of these are areas to focus on for learning. Everybody has routines. Everybody's routines are so much a part of their life that in many cases they don't even recognize that they have a routine. They don't recognize that there's a ritual that's very important to them in how their day is conducted. And I think one of the people who really brings this lesson home to us is a woman named Rhonda. Rhonda lives in Missouri. And Rhonda, when we were asked to develop a plan with Rhonda, they said, you know, Rhonda has challenging behaviors, but only on the weekends. And there was that piece of me that was going, isn't that fairly typical for most of us? Isn't the weekend the time when we have fun? But they said, no, no, not that kind of challenging behavior. On the weekends, she doesn't cooperate with dressing. And during the weekdays, we don't have an issue. We don't have a problem. What's wrong here? What's up? Can you help us discover this? And so we did that process where we said, who should we really listen to? We said, who's closest to her? And we found a woman, Lorraine, who works with her every day, during the week, not on the weekends. And we said, tell us about the morning. Tell us about Rhonda's morning, but tell us about the morning. How does the morning work? So we went for the morning routine. And she said, well, you know, there's 6 people who live in this house, and they all need assistance to get going in the morning. They all need help to get out of bed. They all need help getting dressed. And so you help one person at a time. But the way I do it is the first thing I do is I go and knock on Rhonda's door and open the door and look inside, and Rhonda will have pulled the cover up over her head. And that means go away, help somebody else. So I go to the next room, and that's a woman who's always ready to get up. She's always ready to greet the day, and so I help her get ready, and then I go back to Rhonda's room. And I knock on the door and open it, and if I knock on the door and open it really fast, I can see her pull the cover up over her head. And that means go away and come back. And so I do. I help somebody else. And I come back, and the third time I come back, Rhonda, unless she's sick, will always be up on her elbows, looking at me, ready to get up. And I never have any difficulty helping her get dressed. But the people on the weekend, when we asked them about the morning routine, said, well, everybody here needs help. So I go to room number 1, help that person, then I go to room number 2, and help that person, and I said, okay, what room is Rhonda's? And they said, room number 2. So I said, do you knock on her door and look to see if she's ready? They said, no, we're very busy in the morning. We just don't have time. And Rhonda doesn't cooperate with dressing. But if you really listen to what Rhonda was saying, Rhonda needs a snooze alarm. And she uses the routine in order to have 2 snooze alarm hits. And when I heard that, well, we don't have time to do that, I asked Lorraine, well, how much extra time does this take? She said, altogether? And I said, yeah, altogether. She said, oh, maybe a minute, maybe a minute and a half. And then when I asked the staff how much extra time they had to take because Rhonda was upset And the only way she could express her being upset was to not cooperate with dressing, to stick her arms straight out and say, go ahead, see if you can get that blouse on. They would take extra minutes, 10s, 15 minutes, because they weren't listening to how important the routine was, how important the ritual was.